Hello, I'm Ayako Sekiguchi from Wellness Kitchen. This time, I'd like to talk about foods and habits that help keep your mind healthy. Sometimes you might feel down, lose motivation, or just forget things more easily depending on the day. I think everyone experiences days when their mood changes like that, but even so, there are still things you can do. The brain and diet are actually very closely connected, so that's why. This time, I want to talk about how to keep your brain healthy and maintain a positive mindset, focusing on nutrition and the foods you eat. In the end, I'll summarize everything we discuss about this topic. I'd like to introduce a recommended morning drink recipe, so please watch until the very end. In wellness, everything starts with food. Let's make changing your diet the main theme. We'll keep sharing information to help your mind and body feel better, so please subscribe to our channel. The intestines are often called the body's main digestive organ. Even though it only makes up about 2% of your total body weight, it consumes a lot of what you eat. The brain consumes nearly 20% of the body's daily energy, significantly more than the muscles. It's said that the brain uses about the same amount of energy as muscles do, and it uses a lot of energy. Some even say it's hundreds or thousands of times more. It's energy that supports the function of neurons. Yes, it's for neural transmission. So substances are also necessary, aren't they? Acetylcholine, dopamine, noradrenaline, serotonin. There are all kinds of substances, and it's said that about 20 types are known to function as such. That's how it is. Whether or not neurotransmitters work properly can make a big difference in various ways. That means it can lead to problems with the brain or mental issues. For example, serotonin is another name for it. It's also called the happiness hormone. When serotonin decreases, the melatonin that's made from serotonin also decreases. Melatonin is called the sleep hormone. So when melatonin decreases, this causes problems with sleep. Not being able to sleep means your brain can't rest, which further lowers the function of these neurotransmitters, creating a negative cycle. It's very important to relieve stress and get good sleep, but in addition to that, you should also increase your brain's energy. It's also important to focus on nutrients that support the production of neurotransmitters and neurohormones. For example, dopamine is a neurotransmitter that's often called the pleasure hormone and is released a lot in children. When children are moved or excited by something, even small things, they feel happy and want to do it again. However, if the amount of dopamine decreases, things that used to be fun may no longer feel enjoyable. Dopamine also has a big impact on controlling your body's movements, so if its levels decrease too much, your body may not work the way you want it to. Now let's talk about foods that activate the brain and the essential nutrients they contain. One major example is leafy green vegetables. Leafy greens contain lecithin and also choline. Lecithin is actually a material used to make acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter. When you take it together with vitamin C, it increases the synthesis of acetylcholine. That's right. Kerosene actually helps promote the production of noradrenaline and dopamine. It becomes a nutrient. It's found in things like chicken, fish, and dairy products. It's contained in large amounts in these foods. Chicken is also rich in tryptophan, which is an ingredient in serotonin. So in that sense, you could say that chicken is a food that activates the brain. In adults, there are about 100,000 synapses per day. It means that neurons die, so in that sense, it becomes the raw material for neurons. It's also important to firmly take in things like protein. Major products, and as we talked about earlier, some foods also contain protein, so these are ingredients you definitely want to include in your diet. The second important thing is omega-3 fatty acids. These omega-3s are acids that are found in abundance in fish, especially in sardines, mackerel, and blue-backed fish. They are also found in other oils like igoma oil, amenia oil, and camelina oil, as well as in various other oils. However, if you don't consciously consume them, you may end up lacking them. Among these omega-3 fatty acids, the one called A is. It's also found in large amounts in the nerves of the brain and the retina of the eyes. It's said to activate the function of synapses and neurotransmitters, which helps with memory and understanding. Earlier, I talked about things like lecithin and choline, and now I'm talking about A, which is a bad guy. It removes cholesterol and increases overall cholesterol, which is one of its functions. When the blood becomes thinner and the blood flow improves, it also activates the brain. Omega-3 fatty acids can become oxidized, so it's important to take antioxidants from vegetables and fruits together. That's the third point. The brain is a major consumer of energy, and it uses a lot of glucose as its main energy source. That's why glucose is often called the brain's energy. However, if you become too conscious of glucose and try to take in too much, it can lead to problems with your blood sugar levels. I think it's good to consume quality carbohydrates, but taking in more sugar than necessary is not recommended. There's also a way to efficiently use ketone bodies, which are another energy source for the brain, to increase the brain's energy. Ketone bodies are produced when sugar is restricted and fat is burned. It's an energy source, but if you're eating a regular diet, it's not very common for your body to run out of sugar. Other than that, something convenient for producing ketone bodies is called sea oil. Sea oil has a fat-burning effect, so it's good for dieting. There are other ways to use it, but if you don't cut back on sugar, you can't really expect much of a dieting effect. So if you want to diet, I think you should reduce your sugar intake and add sea oil. If you keep eating your regular meals and just add sea oil, it can help you be a little more mindful of your sugar intake. For those who want to use the ketone bodies and energy source from this sea oil, I think you should definitely make use of it. This C+ omega-3 is an oil that I developed because I really wanted to create a healthy oil. It's an oil that blends this sea oil with omega-3 fatty acids in a 2:8 ratio. C acts as an energy source for the brain, and omega-3 activates neurotransmitters and neurotrophic factors. So it's an oil that was developed by combining the good aspects of both. If you're interested, I've summarized the key points, so please take a look. It's also available for sale in stores. Oils like olive oil, igoma oil, or amani oil are also good. I think it's good to take in and include things like that as well. In terms of energy sources for the brain, it's mainly glucose and of course blood sugar levels. If there are any issues, it's good to skillfully use ketone bodies as an energy source for the brain so that you can endure without relying too much on glucose. That way, your brain will function better, you'll feel less fatigued, and your mood will improve. So I recommend actively using ketone bodies as an important energy source for the brain. Since glucose and ketone bodies are the only energy sources, I'd like to talk a little more in detail about ketone bodies as well. The foods that help produce and release ketone bodies are those that contain medium-chain fatty acids. These oils are found in plants like coconuts, palm, and others. Among them, the main component is caprylic acid, which is an 8-carbon fatty acid, but they also contain 10 and 12-carbon fatty acids. These are present in the heart and liver in the body, and they have antibacterial and antiviral effects. So since these are special oils, I think it's good to try to include them in your daily diet as much as possible. A buildup of heart muscle or mole inside the body can slow down metabolism, causing sluggishness, low energy, and easy weight gain. It's important to be mindful of these things. This time I'm talking about oil, but these C-type fatty acids are actually very useful ingredients in foods that help support your health. This time, I'd like to introduce some of the drinks I often have for breakfast and use regularly. I won't be putting them on the base this time though. You can use low-fat milk, regular milk, or even almond milk or soy milk, whatever you prefer. It really doesn't matter what you use as a base. Just pick whatever you like. Each one has different nutrients, so I think it's best to try a variety of foods without getting too fixated on one thing. When I drink milk, I sometimes find that it doesn't fill me up enough, so I end up feeling a bit unsatisfied. So I add a little bit of liquid magnesium. That's what I do. The ratio of calcium to magnesium becomes better, which also helps with calcium absorption. So I try to use it in a way that's easy and natural. If you're concerned about the calcium in cow's milk, I think it's a good idea to add magnesium as well. And as for the powder, it also contains a good balance of nutrients like protein and other important components. So it's really great. There are a lot of nutrients in foods, so it's really good for your body. Kinako also contains a lot of calcium, so it's really a healthy food that's close to us. That's why I highly recommend it. For more details about kinako, please check out the other video. I explain it in detail in that video, so please check it out together. Kinako is a representative food that activates the intestines, and it's easy to use in your daily life. It's really convenient, so I highly recommend it. Cocoa contains a lot of polyphenols which have antioxidant properties, and it also contains theobromine, which helps you relax. So it's a really great ingredient for relieving fatigue in your brain. This is also highly recommended. Since it's in powder form, you can just add it easily and get all the benefits at once. I really recommend it. And if you want a little sweetness, you can add something like honey. Even a small amount of natural sugar is fine and your brain will be happy. From the perspective of brain activity, I definitely recommend it. It's oil. Especially with this oil and omega-3s together, just one bottle can become energy for your brain. Omega-3s, which help the function of neurotransmitters and nerve transmission substances, are included, so just one bottle is enough. For those taking it for the first time, it might be a little stimulating to your stomach, so I recommend starting with a small amount. Once you get used to it, you can use a full bottle. It depends on whether you can handle it or not. Your body's performance will change. It's a high endurance energy and also energy for your brain. Since it makes something called ketone bodies, it's said to be the liver's favorite food, so it's really great for your brain. If you want to add just a little more power to this meal, you can add a banana. I think it's better to use bananas that are a bit green, like unripe ones. But if you add a banana, this meal can also be a substitute for breakfast. One banana is enough, and make sure not to add too much banana. Bananas contain tryptophan, which is also an ingredient in serotonin, so they help with relaxation and calming your mind. So it's totally fine to add them, and they can even become the base of your drink. Milk, dairy products, grains, and milk powder are added for their anti-acidifying effect. We've also added polyphenols and cocoa powder. And then we've also added vitamin C and omega-3 oil. This time, since I used cow's milk, I added magnesium. Even if you use milk, it's okay to add it or not, but magnesium is an essential mineral in natural ingredients, so I always include it. You can also add a little to water or something like that. It's good to make it a daily habit. I add it to my morning drinks. I just introduced the drink, but you don't have to stick to that. You can use tea powder or green powder or even other ingredients if you like. It seems to have antioxidant effects, so please feel free to substitute it with something similar. I'd like to try drinking the drink I just introduced. It's delicious. Maybe it's because of the powder and the cocoa in it, or maybe something else is in there too, but it's really easy to drink. This time I showed a more relaxed, less serious side of myself that felt more at home. Basically, you can find links to everything in the summary section, so you can easily buy them online too. Please take a look if you're interested. It's pretty easy to understand. It's not something that takes a lot of energy. When you're tired or when your head feels foggy or unclear, you can feel the difference firsthand, making it easy to grasp. Instead of just hearing about it without fully understanding, you can experience it yourself. I don't think it's hard to keep up with in that sense. Straightening up and taking a deep breath can completely change my mood or make me feel refreshed. Despite daily challenges, resetting myself with a simple stretch is incredibly helpful. I want to continue this practice without excessive pressure and encourage others to try it too. Thank you very much for watching until the end. This is about the method for purifying the mind and body. We are also recruiting participants for our online seminar, so please check the summary section for details if you are interested. Well then, let's meet again in another video.